Hello, welcome to this episode of OnlyFounders. I'm so excited to have you guys with us today and our guest, Adrienne Arieff. Adrienne, how are you?
I'm good. Great to be here.
Good. I'm Ann, as you guys know. Matt, hey Matt. Matt's joining us from Houston today. Well, we are in sunny LA, and I love being here because Colorado.
I wish I was in LA. LA sounds really good right now.
It is really good today. It just feels strange because it's winter, but it feels like summer. But that's California living for you.
Yeah, it's really versatile. I actually love it because it's very much like Colorado. So sometimes you'll get the 60 degree, and then sometimes you get the snow at 10. You just don't know. But here it's like elevated another 20 degrees. So it's hot. We're very overdressed.
Yes,
we should definitely be in tank tops.
But it's like it's dry heat though. It's not like.
It is dry heat. That's why I think I can survive here because it's not super muggy.
No.
Yeah, Houston is super humid.
Yeah. Houston is a no-go for me. If I'm in Houston for longer than 2 days, I'm out. I have to go.
Out.
I'm done.
Down and out.
Yeah, we're out. Well, I am so excited to talk to Adrienne with you guys today because she has an amazing story of her career thus far and all of the successes that she's seen and all of the challenges and opportunities that we're going to talk to you about on OnlyFounders. But really, we are going to talk about this, something very mission-driven, and I'll let her explain, but it's a course that she has coming out that we can't wait to talk to you guys about. So before we do that, I want to know, what if you were to say your own bio? How would you introduce yourself?
My own bio. Okay, I'm going to give you a shortened one. All right, I am a brand marketer. I started off as a PR girl. I was the PR girl in style and fashion, all things, anything you can think of, design, fashion, style. And that was 20 years of my life. So that's behind me. Now I've taken some of that and brought fashion and style to 2026 through a lot of work that I'm doing with a company called My Eye Doctor. I still do work with Adidas. I still do quite a work with venture firms, I should say, their portfolio companies. And I do a ton of brand work with them, overhaul a lot of new businesses, a lot of startups, and bring them into the now, into the zeitgeist of culture. My bio, my roots are in PR. That industry is changing so much, as you probably know. Mm-hmm. So I had my own firm. I worked in lifestyle PR. I was on a TV show as a lifestyle expert. I did all these kinds of the things and stuff. And then I realized around 2015 that all of a sudden I wasn't getting a ton of business. I'm like, I either need to overhaul my business, but I had an offer for an acquisition, or I just have this acquisition and do what I do well for this other company. So I went with that instead of overhauling my business because I was ready for something different. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to work with, not be the big boss, and just be one of a team of like an executive group. So that worked out really well. The timing was great. So did that. And I have spent, basically that was the first 10, 12 years was PR, and then it has launched into content and brand strategy. And so that's what I'm working on these days, and some side gigs with what we'll talk about, the Next Chapter Collective and this course that I'm launching soon. And then just, and we'll see where the conversation takes us.
Okay, question. So your PR firm, how old were you when you started that?
God, that's a good question. Let's see. Well, I am 11. No, okay. I started that company when I was 30.
Okay. And how long did you have it?
Until I was 40.
Ooh. Okay. So did you have team members, partners, anybody with you? Or
I had
was it
one
just you?
partner, Natalia, who actually worked on where we met, sort of Painters with me. She is great and was great. We're still very much in touch. I had her as a partner, and I had at any given time 3 to 10 people working for me.
Cool. And I skipped over how Adrienne and I know each other. So this was a great reminder. I also wanted to include Adrienne and I have known each other actually for about 15 years. But when we came back and got reunited, we hadn't really spoken in all of that time. So back when I was working with Certa Painters, she also was hired in to work on brand with Certa and PR. And we had met just in that creative space of managing the brand at Certa together. And then she popped up in my LinkedIn recently, and then we just kind of hit it off and had this conversation and said, oh my gosh, A, we need to be friends, and B, I need you on the show. So that is how Adrienne and I know each other, which is why I often say on the show that when you collect good people, you keep them. And when you build relationships and they come back around, there's an energy and there's a reason why certain people stay in your circles. And I would say Adrienne is a great example.
Cheers
of that.
to that.
Absolutely. Yep. So that is how we were even here today. Okay. So PR company. And then when you were growing your PR company and you felt that you were kind of like tapped out, I would say, or just ready for something different, how long had you been feeling that before you actually made that shift after 10 years?
That is a great question. Probably a year and a half.
Interesting.
I was ready.
So you sat in that for a good year and a half, and then you were waiting for the right opportunity to come.
Yeah, it was a combination. I had been so deeply committed and in love with my company and the people that were a big part of it, that it was foreign to me that all of a sudden I was feeling this itch for something different. And I know a lot of that itch was a changing market, and the industry had changed so much that I was changing. And so I was trying to figure out what that looked like. And what that looked like was to have an acquisition and to see and be open to what was next.
Mm-hmm. Love that. So let's talk about after the PR firm, and then now you're working as this brand consultant on all of these brand things. Why the shift from PR to branding? Was it what you expected, or what made you give up more of the PR side and just be a brand girl?
So now that I've been in the workplace for longer than I care to admit or even really digest, I think
10 years.
Yeah, I think a career evolves. I think some people stay like an architect or a lawyer. Maybe you're always an architect or a lawyer, and that evolves in a different way. Oh, the dog is here.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be in the podcast. Some industries just change, and I fell into PR because I loved it. I actually studied communications in college. And then, I don't know, all of a sudden there were less magazines, and then blogs were taking over. I think it's an interesting subject, what you mentioned, in terms of when you know it's time to leave a job. And I have found that every job I have left or been forced to leave, because I have also been fired twice. And now that those women, I'm spacing on their names, wrote that book, it's All the Cool Girls Get Fired. I'm like, I've been fired.
I've been laid off twice as well.
Yeah. And you know what? Every time you get laid off and or fired, you learn so much from it. And you think to yourself, oh, wait, I actually kind of knew that was coming.
And it was a blessing in disguise.
Always.
Because you probably wouldn't have left when they forced you out.
No.
And then you see all of the things that happened because you were no longer there at that time. And
Absolutely.
It challenges you to grow, but it's really uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great right when it's happening. But then when you kind of lean into it and do the work, then you're like, okay, I get it. I'm okay. This is all right.
Mm-hmm. So I think when you have the layoff and you have to be replaced or just eliminated in that position with where you are, I think it's actually really good to realize, as just an employee anywhere or as a leader anywhere, that you can be versatile with your people, and you can also pivot as needed, and you can't be afraid with the relationships that you have to make those decisions. I think for me, on the other end of it, going through 2 layoffs, not only was it beneficial for me, but at the time it sucked. It was so shitty. It was awful. But the growing that came after that, I would have not left. I would have just stayed in that job and been a bit more complacent for a while.
Sure.
But it forces that change earlier. But then on the flip side of that, as a CEO and a business founder, and I'm navigating the people as well now on the other side of it, I'm saying they're going to be okay because I've experienced it on the other side. If you have to let somebody go, while it is hard, it's a hard conversation to have. I think it actually makes you a better boss when you go
Agreed.
through it, because then you say, I know that that's shitty. It's not great. And we have to handle it with tact and care, but also they're going to be okay.
And also age and experience are a beautiful thing. It's a bit of a sad reality when you understand that ageism exists in every single industry. However, it can also be your greatest asset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on, guys. 1 second. Someone's microphone is dragging a lot.
Oh,
I don't know which one.
it could be my hair. Maybe it's on your back.
Oh, it's It's
Oh, is Adrienne's?
yeah, it was moving a lot, so I was like, it was hard to hear.
Oh, maybe
And you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Is that better?
Yeah, it was just like when you were moving, I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
Okay.
Interesting. Can you hear us now?
We're good.
Is
We're
that
good. We're
better?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry to interrupt. It's gonna be
No,
loud in
I
this
think
one.
it's really important. I think that, we hear so much about ageism. That's a big thing in everyone I talk to these days. And I used to kind of put my nose up to it, like, oh, it's just because people aren't doing the work or whatever. And then I experienced it and I was definitely doing the work. And I was like, oh, wait, ageism is real.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, well, if there's ageism and you're in a certain role where that's coming into play, then that's not your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's not maybe where you're supposed to be. And that you should really think of age and experience as a resource and as a superpower. So I really am a big believer in that, because in the current role, or one of my clients, I should say, that's taking up the bulk of my time, my eye doctor, the woman who's the CEO of the company is, a woman who's had a full career. She's a little bit older than me. I respect her madly. I love working for her. And she just works hard. And I love working for a woman that also has a lot of has a lot of experience and just a beautiful career that I can, jump into and work with her and learn from her.
I think that's profound, being a woman in the workplace, to work for a woman who has had more experience than you and you can actually learn from, because it's rare.
Absolutely.
I've mostly worked for men, to be honest, in my career. And while that is still wonderful, especially if you have great men that I've been able to work for, there's also been some men that have not been so great to work for. But I think just being a female and having that female leadership above you to guide and to bring you forward and to partner with you, that's really, really remarkable, because there aren't too many female CEOs. We're hoping to change that, but it's really nice when you have that leadership and you can see their experience. And I really do think it helps combat the ageism shift in the culture that's going on with especially women. Men, it looks more prestigious, and this is just my own opinion, so you can throw it out with the garbage, but when you are a male over 55, it's like you're expected to be the C-suite. You're expected to be the boss. It's fine. There's not a lot of ageism there. But for women, it seems like when you're above 55, there is more of that, oh, well, I don't know if she would make a great leader. Is she going to be focused? And I don't know about menopause. And it's bullshit. But I've worked with a lot of women in the ageism space as well who are combating ageism. And I do think it's really unfair. It's just about the equality in the workplace anyway.
I think I'm even interrupting you because I feel so passionate about this. If you love your job and you're 30, 40, 50, 60, it just doesn't matter. I mean, as I told you, I just, before we started this podcast today, I did a two-day shoot. I worked in 2 days about close to 24 hours. Even though I am tired today, I also feel ridiculously energized. So no company or client is missing out at all on my skills or my experience or my energy or whatever, because I'm older. If anything, I had more energy than a lot of the 25-year-olds on set. And I have a very strong work ethic. And so I think it's like what you said, just absolute bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. I think if your work is giving you life as your work is, absolutely. It doesn't even matter the age that you are. I think there's a lot of really ill conceived notion of like, okay, well, this person, because they're older, might not give it everything, or they might be more tired, or they might be run down. It's like, no. I think the older you are, it is your superpower, because you have aligned so much of what you should be doing and what you want to be doing. And you can actually align yourself better with those jobs, whether they're contract or whether they're a client of yours, however that business structure is set up for you. You can bring in and you can navigate things, and you also can say no to more things with experience. And the older you are, I do feel that you have the ability to say no comfortably, which allows you to filter out the things that you are more aligned on. So yeah, you are bringing fucking amazing energy to the clients and the work that you're doing, because you're saying yes to the things that you know you have bandwidth for. So it doesn't really matter about the age thing. So did you want to talk is this just a feminist conversation over here? Or did you want to let Matt have
No, I think really where I'm thinking, like where my head's at is like, where are you finding the biggest struggles in your branding business? Because I'm more curious of like, I know a lot of branding, marketing, agency, like whatever asterisk, they're basically consultants for businesses that help in marketing. A lot of them are struggling. So I'm curious, like, what are you seeing? What are you experiencing in the market at the tail end of 2025 and now coming into 2026? Because I know a lot of folks that are struggling, even dissolving their businesses. Where are you on that stuff?
It sometimes it's just luck and being in the right place at the right time. I am not struggling as we sit here today, but I would have had a totally different storyline 8 months ago. I have adapted to AI in my case with brand marketing. I have Claude and ChatGPT in my workflow with how I deal with content. So I act as like a chief brand officer and lead brand for this company and a couple other clients, but also the way that I write and produce is a lot more, the quantities are much more now, where I think the job I have today would have 2 years ago been maybe 3 people, but it's not that I'm working harder, it's that I'm utilizing AI into my workflow, so I'm able to do more. So I think the hole, or this gaping hole that a lot of people need to figure out, is how do you incorporate AI into your workflow? How do you make yourself smarter and more efficient so you don't, if you are struggling in brand, how you can show up a little bit differently with AI in your workflow, knowing that you're not selling out. You're just working a little bit differently using these new tools that if you're not using them, you're simply behind and you won't get the job because it's just not the world we live in today.
So how is the wisdom that you've accumulated in brand beating out the 25-year-olds that are also using AI, kind of using it as a shortcut? Because like I see that in other industries where it's like, a lot of the time, AI is kind of creating a bridge between those who are experienced and those who are not. And what's happening, it's normalizing it. And that's why like people coming out of college are finding really hard time to get a job because companies are requiring experience, because all you need is a little bit of experience to become senior level. If you have no experience, it's really hard to make anything. But if you have a lot of wisdom and a lot of like institutional knowledge, I've seen cases where that even becomes more of a superpower than it was before. So my question to you is that true for you, and how?
It's 100% true. Is I am able to lead in many ways that a 25-year-old or 35-year-old, for that matter, couldn't lead. And I'm really confident in that. Again, what we were talking about a little bit about age and experience, that is a superpower. So I think if you make it a weakness, it will become a weakness, because I know everyone says, oh, they're an expert after like one blog post or whatever, and people don't even know what a blog is anymore. So, I think I would, if a 25-year-old was competing with me for the same job and they got the job, then it clearly wasn't the right role for me. I was just consulting for the past year with a startup that I admire deeply on rethinking education. They hired a lot of young people who are all super smart, brainiacs, amazing. Their workflow was quite different from mine and how they produced. I don't know if it was workflow, just the output or something was quite different. And I would say the 25-year-olds got the role long term. They didn't renew this contract with me this year, but I actually was okay with it because I thought, the work I did with them is done. They really liked the work. I really liked the work, but they have decided to go with that 25-year-old model. And I think for them, it's working. So I think it's just business by business, case by case, because this was a young startup. Hey, necesitamos un poco más tranquilo, ¿ok? ¿Está bien? Gracias. Y silencio también. Sorry.
Hey,
so I think, I'm going to just say my thought again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to take a step back if possible and think about who's interviewing you for what consulting role or job, and be really true to yourself. Because if it's a bunch of young people interviewing you, and they say it's a young organization that is, you'll get a vibe, you know what I mean? And then I just don't think you should go after the opportunity. I think it's probably not worth your time. And that's really hard to digest that pill, but we have to be very, and trust me, I've messed up. So, I mean, I went on this one interview. I think they did 9 loops of interviews with me. And then they did hire, I think, a 30-year-old. And you know what? I looked at her LinkedIn, and you know what? I was like, actually, I think she may have been the better option.
She's great.
Yeah, she's so great. I'd hire her.
I've done that before too. I literally would know who got a job that I didn't get, and I go look at their LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, you totally make sense.
Great.
Yeah, that was a good hire. Yeah, so that's definitely happened to me. And then you actually sometimes feel a little better because you think, oh wait, I actually would have hired that person too.
Exactly.
So I think it's just case by case. I mean, sometimes it's the luck. It's also the relationships we have. Sometimes I just hire people and I don't even interview them. I just hire them in 1 second, literally, because I'm like, oh, they'll do the job great. I've worked with them before. Done.
Yeah.
You have this consulting gig or this job or whatever. So I think it's a good lesson in relationship building and maintaining too. Just like it's a few factors. So yes, it's a scary time in our industry. Brand marketing has completely shifted.
Oh, completely.
There's a ton of AI. A lot of it's terrifying.
Yep.
And yeah, all you can do is keep reading, keep learning, keep being curious. And that's all you can do. But if you don't lean into what's happening into culture in our world, then you will fall behind and you will not get hired, and someone else will get that job.
Where are you? Oh, go ahead, Ann.
Go ahead, Matt. No, your turn.
Well, I was just kind of segueing into like what are your next initiatives? Because it sounds like you're also working on.
Let's talk. That's where I was going too. Let's talk about this workshop because I'm really curious about it. This whole program that Adrienne's putting together, it's talking exactly. It sounds like what we're talking about, of a little bit of ageism in there too. But I want you to share with us how this came to be first, and then talk to us about it. But how and why? What motivated you to start this program now?
Well, I'm so excited to talk about it because I really haven't talked about it at all yet. It's coming out.
This is the first look.
And okay. I have to give you a little. I know I showed you the intro, and we're still recording. So I hired a production team, and I thought, well, let me first step back. So when I did get laid off, again, what you're talking about, the company I was working at before was like, sorry, you're out. So I had to really take a look at where I was in my job, in my life, or jobless, I should say. And I was burnt out. And I literally had a pitch like a week later, and I forgot the guy's name at the interview. And that was embarrassing. And then I submitted a proposal and forgot his name again. So
and that was your nervous system's way of saying, this is the same old work that we don't want to be doing anymore.
Yes.
So stop. Yeah.
Yes. It was really embarrassing. Oh, and in the meeting after I left, he didn't see this as far as I know, I tripped on my pant leg. I had these really wide leg pants, and I face planted on concrete. And I was like, wow, I might need a break. And I was so sad. I literally went to like this frozen yogurt place nearby with like a child, like eating my ice cream cone. So sad.
I love that you shared that story though. You have to find comfort in something. So frozen yogurt.
My best day.
Balanced you out. Okay. Now you're jobless.
Yeah, tears in a bathtub. We don't need that much of a visual. So it took a little while. It took a few months, for sure, of a little bit of soul searching, a lot of walking, like what you and I are talking about, the power of a good walk and some fresh air and oxygen to the brain. And also having a deep realization when fear is at the what is it, frontal lobe of your brain or whatever, it doesn't work. If you're coming from a place of fear, you are not going to be as creative, and you are certainly not going to be as productive. So once the fear kind of pushed away and I finally got a consulting role and I realized it wasn't just doom and gloom, I started to slowly, and this position that I got was like a 2-month project, but I got to be a co-producer and writer for a short independent film on inequalities in the food system and culture of food. It was super interesting.
Wow.
So it opened up my mind, it inspired me. And so that was really cool to just take on a project. And I was collecting unemployment. It was very real, it was hard, but that brought me back to life. And I'm forever grateful for the woman who brought me onto that project too, because we had done quite a bit of work together. And she was like, this is perfect for you. Just learn how to produce and write a script and do this. And I was like, okay, I just learned, because I was already a writer. I'd already written a couple books and whatever. So yeah, that worked out. But then, okay, so a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of soul searching. And then I just thought, after several conversations, because I was also in this kind of phase of networking, a lot of the men and women I was talking to are really talking about what is their kind of next move, their next iteration, their next chapter. And then it started to become abundantly clear to me that this was a thing. Kids are going to college, parents are dying, people are losing their jobs, industries are evaporating. Like journalism is like going down the toilet. Doom, gloom. Here. Exactly, doom, gloom. And I was really becoming doom and gloom. So I was like, all right, I got to do something about this. So then I started to see all these, I was being targeted on Instagram, all these women talking about, you can make $1 million doing X or fitness and take this vitamin, you'll lose 20 pounds or GLP-1 or whatever, all this crap. And I was like, well, everyone else is talking about something. I want to own the space of next chapter and what that looks like for women in midlife. The kids have gone to college, what's next? You've lost your job, what's next? So my lane is not the menopause or the fitness, but you've lost your job or your kids have gone to college. So now what is your purpose and your intention in work or in life? And so that is what kind of inspired this to help women in this particular lane, but also just to have interesting conversations like we're doing with women in different phases of their life. And then I mentioned this before, the other piece of it was I also, this is going to totally different subject, I wanted to have a little bit of a legacy for my kids to have some video of me talking to interesting women. I have twin girls, they're teenagers. When my mom unfortunately passed away, I had no footage of her except a bunch of photos, which I cherish. So I thought, now I can have all this great video with all these women, talking to them about all sorts of interesting topics. And then this course module, the next chapter shift program, I can't think of anything better for my kids to at least have something of me when I'm not here. So I thought, okay, this works. If it doesn't, go gangbusters crazy on sales or whatever, I can monetize it with my children at least. So that was kind of
I love that. Okay. So next chapter shift program. That's it. So we're talking about next chapter and we're talking about what you're going to gain when you go through it. So what does the program look and feel like? Describe that to us.
So the program takes you through 8 weeks. Each week is a different course module around this shift. So we have each week you have to be accountable for these workbooks. It's from purpose to confidence to hobbies, interests, etc. It just goes on and on about these shifts.
Does it address the whole person?
Yeah,
I love that.
So everyone's a little different. Obviously, everyone is different. So it addresses the whole person. And there are 2 levels. One is just, it's pre-recorded. And then you just have to be a little bit self-directed and self-motivated. The other one, we have cohorts of 6 women, and then we meet once a week. And then we also have one-to-ones. So
I love that. So you have 2 options.
I have 2 options.
So more self-guided. If you just want no bullshit, you got to just go on your plan.
And that's the more affordable option.
Yes. And then the other one.
So what's the goal output? What's the end result? Like what are
the end result is you'll have a blueprint for what your next, the The end result is you could have a blue. What is wrong with me? It's the tired today.
You're tired.
I am tired.
Okay.
I haven't slept at all.
Well, yeah.
Or I slept a little.
Bring it back.
The end result is that you would have a blueprint for what your life could look like next, both work and personally and professionally.
So it's almost like, what is this? So Ben, this morning, actually, Ben Whitehair, another show guest, was talking about you have a life resume. This is actually sounding a lot like that. So you have a blueprint for what that life resume is going to go to next. And so he talks about having a life resume. And I don't know if it's called that specifically, but it's a resume of your entire person. It's a whole person resume instead of just your work. And I loved that whole concept, and we've talked about that. And I know he's delivered a speech on that. And so this much sounds like
the phase 2 of the life resume.
So you have this kind of
first couple weeks we
blueprint for
help
that.
you put together an iteration of a life resume. But the most important thing, again, once you have that life resume in some shape or form, how do you execute upon it? How do you stay committed? It's that rinse and repeat and that commitment. Too many people think it's just like a quick fix, but it's not. It's something that you work on every single day or it doesn't work.
Okay. And so how granular do you get into the weeds with these women of actually executing, maybe starting that business or filing for the LLC or something like that?
Very
so it's literally, it's not just the ideating around it. It's the ideating and the implementing.
Yeah. And giving them all the tools and the referrals. We have.
And so you also connect them with people in your network. So it's also leveraging your network, which now
100%.
At this point in your career is vast.
Yes.
You're very well connected. So then that's also a selling point, which I think is huge. This actually combats the whole ageism culture too. The more established you are in your career, the more great people you've collected. And I'm a people collector. I think in your life, when you find those good people, they circle back. And that's what makes your power as an older person in work. That's what you're giving them access to, is the connections and the introductions. And it's people. We know that jobs are created with people.
100%.
And you're giving them that.
Anyone that I like and respect, I always say my network is your network. I want everyone to succeed. I'm like the biggest or a very big hype girl for most people. And the only time I'm not a hype girl is if it's someone that, crossed me at some stage or another.
No, bitch, you don't get
on my bad side
here. That's funny. I'm the same way. I operate very much so of my network is your network, and I'm happy to connect. And I think that's actually what helps us grow. It's like that working in gratitude.
Absolutely.
But it's being grateful for the connections and people that you've had along the way. And then, you should talk to so-and-so, and like the podcast. And I'm like, do you have a good producer? Yeah, but I'll take other recs. Like, I know so many amazing ones. So it's like, anytime you can hear a trigger of someone who you think of, I think there's a reason. I very much believe that there's a reason that we have people placed on our minds at certain times.
100%.
And when you're talking to someone and you go, that person, there's a reason that person is there. So just connect them, and you never know what's going to happen with it. But that's really beautiful. Not only going through the executing and the implementing, and then also the people and the introductions and the network within this course and this whole program of, I'm also going to learn from you.
I like to say it's like Adrienne and Friends. That's what my producer said. He's like, this is Adrienne and Friends, and that's how we're positioned. And also this producer I've worked with, I interviewed 15 producers for this role to help me produce this. I knew that if I tried to do it myself, it wouldn't be where I wanted it to go, because I simply don't have the skill set to make it what I want it to be and what I think its potential could be. And this guy, Patrick, has completely turned my vision into a reality. And I'm so grateful for that too.
How did you meet Patrick?
Well, I went onto Google. I did the old fashioned way. No one could really help me in this case. I said, I need a masterclass type producer. And it just wasn't in my network for whatever reason. So I went on Google and I just in ChatGPT, and I literally kept calling. And I think I talked to 15-ish people.
Wow.
Hired one guy. And then it's funny, I hired him. And then something, I don't even remember what happened, but I just asked for a couple things and he said I was asking for too much, even though it was in our scope of work and a contract that I signed. So that didn't, I said, maybe we should just quit while we're ahead. And then Patrick was my second choice and I told him, and now I'm so glad because he's absolutely where I want to be.
Wow. So you found your person by a cold search.
Yes, which
not by a recommendation.
Terrible. I am so scared of cold search.
Me too.
I mean, okay, really quickly, can I do a little side story of a bad, this is a hilarious bad side search or cold search.
Yeah.
I host film parties in my backyard because I love just because it's all in the hills and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I wanted a raclettes après-ski theme. So raclettes are this hot melted cheese that you sometimes have after you ski, and it's hot cheese and it melts in your mouth. It's really fun to eat after a cold day of skiing. It's big in Switzerland. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to bring Switzerland to Los Angeles. So I look for a raclettes caterer on Google. Okay. Cold, because it's a random thing.
Yeah.
I find one. So what happens day of? The guy's like, well, I don't really have the raclettes machine. Oh, you said you did, but I can fry up the cheese, but we aren't going to provide any food. I was like, wait, a caterer who's not going to provide any food? So I just ended up going all over town, finding the raclettes and the bread and whatever. But raclettes cheese is a little bit rare too. Wow. So I found it all, but literally this guy, this Google is the worst Google referral. I wish I remembered their name. Oh, I do, but I'm not going to incriminate anyone.
Not going to bash them on
here. I'm not going to bash them. I thought about
it.
I did one bad review to the company, and that was enough.
Good.
His one person showed up, and they charged me catering rates for food and the materials and everything, but literally one person showed up, and we supplied the food, the knife, the pan, and the table.
What did they even do? They staffed the thing.
One person staffed it for the whole thing. So I was like, okay, I'm never doing Google cold search again. So in this case, it was the worst. So I don't know. I think usually you should go for a referral through a friend or a colleague.
But I love that you have a success story with a cold search because I don't hear that often.
Yeah, this cold search was epic. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but it looks pretty. I don't want to jinx it, but I have high hopes. The raclettes less so.
But yeah, so you've already seen some early success. You just did like a A/B testing, you said, and you already had 6 signups.
Yeah, which is
incredible. You shouldn't even launched yet. It's in March, and you already have 6 interest. I mean, that's incredible. Really Congratulations.
Thank you.
That means that it's a good course. It means it's a good material, good content, and the marketing for it is great. And I'm assuming that's because you were smart. You hired Patrick. You hired help, and to know because of your experience. I am not the person who's going to make this successful the way I want it to be. You have to find the right people to come on board.
100%.
So now you're like the CEO and the founder of this program. Let's say, and Matt, I'll give you some time to talk to. I'm like, we're just like over here having a time. So let's say this program, you've already not even launched and you have 6, okay, which is huge because you said you have a cohort of 6. So that's like 1. You've already sold 1. So 2 years from now, what does this look like? Are you still, let's say the program takes off, bandwidth. Are you still doing this program and the brand consulting? What wins? What do you think?
That's a good question. I am one of those people who do not have 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year plan, and it has worked very much in my favor to date. In a perfect world, I would love the cohorts to grow. In terms of a KPI, it really depends on how much time I can devote to it. Right now, I can devote enough time to properly serve 1 cohort.
Okay.
If my consulting work becomes less, I could then increase the cohort. So I don't know exactly. I think eventually the goal, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, I am not sure, would be to have probably 4 or 5 cohorts and to have graduates and to really grow this program into an online, course module that people take seriously, that are involved, that I have additional workbooks that people really are like, oh, that really helped me land my next role or really got me out of a rough patch. That is my goal.
And then it would really be Adrienne and friends because it's Adrienne and your friends leading the other cohorts and you're also giving your network. Go ahead, Matt.
That's a good answer because anytime you're going 0 to 1, it's impossible to figure out where you're going in 1 year anyway, right? Because you don't even know if your hypothesis is right. So you kind of you have to test it, and then once you go through one iteration, you pivot to another iteration, pivot. Maybe you're right the first time, and that's great, but that's a smart answer. Like, and that comes from your experiences. Usually, if you start trying to plan 2-3 years out, and you're starting at zero, it's you don't know. It's like most 99.9% of the time, that's whatever you plan is out the window anyway.
It's just a test, so you're trialing it.
That's exactly right.
Right. See where you are.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And yeah, eventually, if it were to take off, I would love other people to do these cohorts with me. And that's again, Adrienne and Friends, like we said, it would be really fun.
It rolls. The brand actually works for both. It's Adrienne and Friends with your network.
Absolutely.
The introductions, and it's Adrienne and Friends that now the friends are also leading you through what Adrienne has created, which is a great progression. It's almost like you could do these first groups of cohorts going through the program, and then you could have a second course that's almost like a certification in addition to for becoming the leader to lead your own cohort.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like a licensing model, but it's like, hey, you can take on the next chapter of it's your own.
Yeah.
group.
I mean, that's exactly like where my head was going initially. I mean, you have to have a vision overall, but I also want to start small, make it really, really good before it turns into anything. Yeah. So it's going to take a little time, and I'm not in a hurry either. I don't believe in quick fixes or shortcuts. And I don't think AI is a shortcut either. I think it's just a tool.
I totally agree with that. We've talked a lot about AI on our show. Matt is an AI expert, and I think...
I'm not an AI expert. I just use it.
I think you are. For AND standards, you are an amazing AI user. But I definitely don't think it's a shortcut. I think when it's implemented in the right way, like you said, and you get really smart with it, you use it as a tool in your toolbox, it makes you such an effective employee, worker, consultant, business leader, and it should stay there. It should stay in that box. It should not be replacing the creativity of your mind. So where is this workshop program going to exist? How can people access it? And with that, what is the barrier to entry for someone? Is it like a fit thing in addition to them just signing up and buying it? Do you actually have like a discovery call with them to see if they would be a good fit? Or what does that onboarding look like?
So there will be a website. Actually, they're creating it right now. I don't even, I think I'll be able to know like next week because they're creating, you'll edit this part out.
Love it. Edit this part out. I will say the website.
Okay. There will be a website, which we'll have at the end of this podcast. So I'd love for anyone that's interested to sign on to learn more. There will be a discovery call option, but typically anyone can sign up. It's catered towards primarily women, but if a man wants to sign up, I would never shut them away. That's good. Yeah.
Good to know. And
then again, there's pre-recorded. And anyone can sign up for that. I don't think you need a discovery call, but it's available if needed. And then the cohort, I really feel like would need a good. Oh my God! Should I tell them to?
No, it's okay. And I feel like we're wrapping soon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a lot of good edits in this. Our editor is going to be on his toes.
No, John will be good. He'll be fine.
It's fine. So let's take it to the discovery call and for men and women. Let's talk about that.
So there'll be a discovery call number where people can contact me, and then I'll do like a quick 15 minutes so they can have a better, it's a commitment. So if they'll have a better idea if this course is right for them, I think through the discovery call. And I also think the website, there's an FAQ section. So a lot of these questions will be answered too.
I love that. This is great. Matt, did you have any other questions for Adrienne?
No, I think, I'm looking forward to see how the cohort kind of works out, because the 0 to 1 phase is one of the most exciting, but also nervous stages because you're testing out your hypothesis. So
Absolutely.
What you're trying to prove to the market, right? If these 6 individuals, I'd be more curious to see like, okay, after your course, after the 8 weeks or depending which plan they have, after it's done, where are they? And then follow up again, and then follow up a third time or second time, because I'm sure things take time for what they learned or what they know to percolate and then manifest, right? So I'm more curious on that, because that will determine, are you going to have a second cohort or not? that will also determine, are you undercharging or overcharging, or do you need to scale too? So that is what I'm interested as a kind of a follow-up.
Absolutely, Matt. You're right on the money, as they say. I mean, I also think that my first cohort, probably I'll have a lot to learn too in how I work with a cohort, because this is also new for me. I've spent my career rebranding and branding small and big companies, and this is similar work but with people. So I'll have a learning curve as well. And I do agree that there'll be an evolution of this first 8-week module. There'll probably be some sort of phase 2 of it too, but that's very phase 2. First, I got to get phase 1 off the ground.
So we have to follow up this podcast, see where your journey
Yes,
goes.
we do.
We
yes,
should.
yes.
I would love that. Okay, Adrienne, so for everyone who wants to find you, this is your time to plug everything. Where, your channels, websites, anything, where can they find you online just to see more about this program?
Absolutely. So the best place to start is Instagram. So it's next_chapter_collective. Oh my God, let me do that too again.
Yep.
The best place to find us to start is on Instagram, next_chapter_collective. We're also on YouTube. So you can find us there as well. Same URL on YouTube, and then you'll be able to get all the other information from there.
Love that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Everything's in the link in bio. Perfect.
Yes,
Everything will be link in bio. That's the word of the day. Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you
lovely
both.
Yeah,
having
thank you.
today. Great conversation. I love the conversation around empowering women at any age in the workplace. And I love what this next chapter is going to bring to so many people. So it's like a beautiful culmination of all of your experience and your work to help other people. So it's going to be amazing. We'll have to follow along. That does it for us on OnlyFounders today. Thank you guys for joining us. Matt, thanks for tuning in from Houston. Adrienne, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.